Hello everyone, my name is Nadia Wahida. I'm cohort 3 from School of Business and Social Sciences. This video is assignment for Entrepreneurship and Innovation subject from Madam Nurashikin. So today, I'm gonna talk about various types of business entities and entrepreneurship. Before explaining in detail, let me tell you the definition of business entities. Then I will continue with entrepreneurship. Basically, business entity is an organization established by one or more natural persons to facilitate certain business activities or to enable their owners to engage in trade. Therefore, there are various types of business, which each of these types has advantage and disadvantage and will determine the organizational structure and the way the company is taxed. First of all is sole proprietorship, or generally known as single ownership, is a business that is owned and controlled by one person, and all responsibilities, gains, and losses are the responsibility of the owner. The advantage of sole proprietorship is usually the entity type that it's easy to create or to end, and the business losses will cover profits from other sources, while the management is very centralized since only one legal owner is present, and the recording could be a bit simpler, and it's very easy to draw money from a company. And there are also some disadvantages from this type of entities, which are there is no way to sustain income like other forms of business, and the owner does not have limited liability protection and limited interest continuity and transferability, and certain deductible fringe benefits are not available like other type of business. The second one is general partnership. General partnership is an association consisting of two or more people running the business as co-worker, a business for profit. General partnership allow all partners to participate in management but do not provide protection of responsibility for each partner. This is different from a limited partnership that I will discuss later. The advantage of this partnership is easier to set up an entity type because it has more than one owner, and the active losses can be used to offset other income for the owner. Multiple income tax rates and land tax planning is possible because the percentage of ownership can be transferred quite easily, while the disadvantages are similar in the scope of individual ownership. Those are there is no protection of limited liability, that partnerships usually end in the termination of the interest of the majority partnerships, so that continuity is limited, income cannot be maintained, and tax-free benefits are limited. The third one is limited liability partnership. Limited liability partnership is an association of two or more owners with at least one general partner and at least one limited partner. The owner donates property, money, or services to continue the business for their mutual benefit. The advantage of this entity are having unlimited personal responsibility, and therefore they are responsible for daily life business operations, while the disadvantage are the tax treatment for limited liability partnership is similar to the general partnership as discussed earlier. Gains and losses are passed through the partners, so partners can reflect them on their individual tax returns. The next one is limited liability company. This is a hybrid or combination with several partnership features and aspects of a company's limited liability. A company also cannot have at least two main components of the company, such as sustainability, centralized management, and transferability of ownership. As such, the two most significant features of the limited liability company are that it provides partners with some level of limited liability protection, but still acts as a channel like an ordinary partnership. The advantage of this entity is this entity has several aspects of a better partnership plus a corporation. It has limited liability protection but allows it to flow through income and losses to partners so that there is little opportunity for double taxation. And also, income and losses can be allocated more easily too. Where the disadvantages are losses centers on the fact that the limited liability company is still relatively new, and countries have various regulations and provisions regarding their operations, legal status, and level of protection of limited liability available. In addition, like a general partnership, tax-free benefits are limited. From qualification perspective at the federal level, there is always the possibility that the limited liability company will be challenged on qualifications. This can lead to a disaster situation where it's reclassified as company and multiple taxation events can occur. Lastly is corporations. The corporation is a separate legal entity formed through a state charter that uses the Articles of Incorporation. It's authorized to do primarily all business activities that an individual can carry out, including things such as filing and paying taxes, signing contracts, and giving loans. The advantage of corporation include protection of limited liability to the owner, easy transferability of ownership, and easier estate tax planning opportunities, and more possibilities for tax-free benefits program, and more flexible pension plans. While the disadvantage can be the same, corporations are usually more difficult and expensive to establish or dismiss, and more planning is needed to avoid double tax problems. Now we are moving on to entrepreneurship. Firstly, I will explain to you the definition of entrepreneurship. Therefore, entrepreneurship is defined as activities involving the discovery, assessment, and exploitation of opportunities for the introduction of new goods and services, ways of organizing markets, process, and raw materials by organizing efforts that have not yet existed. Entrepreneurship is very significant and is also an innovative procedure that has a variety of activities that offer new things to society and civilization. Because all activities are different, entrepreneurship is divided into various types, and we will discuss some of them now. So here are some different types of entrepreneurship with the example in each of it. First of all, we have administrative entrepreneurship. In administrative entrepreneurship, all management strategies and rules of business operation are included in it. This provides a very effective way to manage all current and future situations that have competitive advantage and excellent in using business. The second one is opportunistic entrepreneurship. Have you ever heard a proverb that saying, "Hit while the iron is hot"? This is the best example for this entrepreneurship. Environment change brings new possibilities, but not everyone can spot openings on time and take advantage from it. Therefore, this is entrepreneurship that identifies first-hand exploits and execute opportunities. The good example for it is FedEx, Land Hancock, and Artefry. The third one is acquisitive entrepreneurship, a company that learns from other skill and gets something new from the firm value, competitive environment, or research competitor technical capacity. Failure never holds them back from acquisitions, but motivates them to find such a thing with new visitor. ImageBazaar.com is an example of entrepreneur acquisitions. Founder Sadip Maheswari in his first year at launch failed to produce masterwork, but then he discovered how he could make his idea a huge success. The fourth one is incubative entrepreneurship. This area of entrepreneurship includes the creation of new types of ideas and businesses in organizations. They handles it in a constructive way and guarantees business companies financial benefits. For example, many technology companies such as Microsoft and Nokia are constantly exploring and promoting new innovations in various products and differentiating types across all product categories on the market. The fifth one is private entrepreneurship. Private entrepreneurship is begun under the private sector via personal and public interests, and the government offers numerous support services that enable private companies to take on business projects. Layers and interrelations between the private and public sectors will make quick and balanced economic development. Some of the famous examples are Tesla, Disney, various food chains, and hospitals are all examples of private enterprise. The sixth one is public entrepreneurship. It's entrepreneurship that performed by government through various institutions of development. In business ideas, all countries, whether developed or underdeveloped, take public initiative to address the initial shortcomings of private entrepreneurs. The example of public entrepreneurships are Submarines Hyman Rickover and Nancy Hank. The next one is individual entrepreneurship. This is entrepreneurship that is managed and run with some personal motives and initiative by individual or family member, so it's called individual entrepreneurship. For example, like Steve Jobs, J.K. Rowling, and Mark Zuckerberg. After that, we have mass entrepreneurship. The advent of this type of entrepreneurship happens when there is a number of positive atmosphere and also inspiration among the general mass, and this reflects mass entrepreneurship that leads to an increase in a country's small and large enterprises. For example, catering services, beauty salons, and local shops. Last but not least, we have replications or imitative entrepreneurship. It's also known as dissemination of innovation. It's entrepreneurship that imitates product or service that exists in the marketplace under a franchise deal. For example is China, where mobile technologies are adapted and modified to take this to the new level. Lastly, we have green entrepreneurship. It is also called ecopreneurship. It involves a perspective that signifies corporations working on their goals as well as profit with the environment. It has three main concepts like eco-innovation, eco-opportunity, and eco-commitment. The example for this type of entrepreneurship is Body Shop and Ben and Jerry's Patagonia, Cliff Bars, and Green Happiness Grow. In conclusion, The choice of the best type of business entities and entrepreneurship is both an art and a science. This should suit the type of business and the individual needs and wishes of the owner, and also the skill of the owner.